Hello, and welcome to today's video presentation on installing Oracle Linux 8. To start the installation of Oracle Linux 8, you will first need to have the ISO file burned to a CD, DVD, or copied to a USB stick. Details to perform that task can be found in the Oracle Linux 8 installation documentation. Most users today use the USB option and can create the media using DD command on Linux or Mac OS. When using DD, make sure you correctly identify the source, IF equals option, and the destination, OF equals option. Getting these reversed or selecting the wrong destination can have adverse effects. If creating the USB installer on a Windows PC, I personally use a tool called Etcher. Etcher is a third-party tool that is not provided or managed by Oracle and is mentioned here as a convenience only. Once you have the install media created, then boot your system using it as the boot source. For this install, we will use the Oracle Linux 8 Update 1 media. The system will boot to a text-based screen showing Oracle Linux 8.1.0. The options displayed are to install Oracle Linux 8.1.0 or test this media and install. The installer will validate the content on the media is good and then start the installer. I will select the Install Oracle Linux 8.1.0 and hit the Enter key. Once the installer boots, we are presented with the Welcome to Oracle Linux 8.1 screen. Here you will select the language for the installation process. I will select English for both and click the Continue button. On the next screen, we will see the installation summary. The installer defaulted to localization details based on my system. If necessary, click the keyboard, language support, or date and time to change it based on your specific needs. Under Software, click the Software selection icon. Under Base Environment, Server with GUI is selected by default. This provides you with a Linux installation with the GNOME 3 graphical desktop. The system will boot into this graphical desktop as a default using this option. For this install, I select Minimal Install, and I will add additional packages later using the DNF Package Manager. In the right side column, we have additional software for selected environment. This is where you can select additional packages you want to add during the installation. Examples would be basic web server or development tools. If you are installing inside of VirtualBox, the development tools packages are beneficial when you go to add the VirtualBox guest editions. Once you have made your selections, click the Done button in the upper left corner. Under the System column, now select Installation Destination. On the Installation Destination screen is where we will select which disk to write our installation. For this system, I have a single disk which is already selected. If you want to customize your partitions layout, this can be done by selecting Custom under the Storage Configuration section. We will just use the default of Automatic in this demo. When all the selections are made, click the Done button in the upper left corner. Back on the summary screen, we now select Network and Hostname. This will display all the network interfaces detected by the installer in your system. In my setup, I have 2 network cards. For this install, I will be enabling the EMP0S3 interface. Ensure the interface is highlighted in the list, and then toggle the switch on the right side from off to on. If the interface detects a DHCP server, it will automatically assign an IP address. If you want to provide a static address for your system, then click the Configuration button in the lower right. For this demo, we are going to stick with DHCP. If you want to give your system a host name, you can enter that in the lower left text field. For this demo, I will provide it a name of demo-ol8.example.com. Once the name has been typed in, click the Apply button. Review your information, and then click the Done button in the upper left corner. There are additional options which we are not going to cover, so review the Oracle Linux 8 documentation for more details. Now that we have made the necessary selections, click the Begin Installation button to start the install. While the install runs, the configuration screen will display along with a progress bar. On this screen, you can set your system's root password and create a user. Under User Settings, click the root password. Enter a secure password for your root user account and type it in the root password text field. Type the password again in the confirm text field. If your password is too weak, you will be prompted with a warning at the bottom of the screen. As this is a demo system that I plan to destroy, I will just accept the weak password by double-clicking the Done button to accept the password typed. Under User Settings, click the User Creation. Enter the full name, username, and password. If you want this user to have admin privileges on the system using sudo, then check the box Make this user administrator. Again, as this is a demo system that I plan on destroying, I will accept the weak password by double-clicking the Done button to accept the password typed. Back on the configuration screen, once the install has finished copying files, click the Finish Configuration button in the lower right. When that step completes, click the Reboot button in the lower right. At this time, the system will reboot. If you did not remove the install media, the system will again boot to the text-based installer welcome screen. If the install media was properly removed, the system will boot into your new Oracle Linux 8 install. Since I chose the minimal non-graphical install, the system boots into a console with a simple login prompt. The installation is complete. At this time, you can log in with your root or user account created at install time. In this video, we walk through the basic steps to install Oracle Linux 8 and one way to determine if you will install a graphical or non-graphical environment. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed this video.